Welcome everybody. Today we have a special guest, Joe Ruggiero, the founder of Rugglion. He's a former college student athlete and currently an entrepreneur once again, Rugglion. And today he's going to talk to us and me a little bit about his journey. And just want to say thanks, Joe, for being here. It's great to have you.
Awesome. Thank you, John, for having me on Top 4 Culture. I look forward to it.
Absolutely. We're going to be putting all of Joe's information in the description below, links to his social media, website, YouTube, etc. So once again, Joe, thanks for being here with us today. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Appreciate it.
So we're going to talk about a couple things today. We're going to start off talking about your football and your student athlete career, so your journey there, and then we're also going to be talking about your journey as a current entrepreneur, so and your pathway there. So let's get started. When did you start playing football, and when did you know it was something you wanted to do?
Yeah, so I'll start off by saying it is not what I wanted to do at first. So I started off playing football when I was about 4 years old. Tackle, mind you, tackle football, I think the cutoff line is like 5 years old or 6 years old, but my parents had put me in early by lying on my registration form, and they forced me to play because as a young kid I was pretty lazy. I really didn't like to do much other than play video games. So my first day of football practice, I got lit up in Oklahoma drills, one-on-one, got the wind knocked out of me. I cried, and for the rest of the season on, I wanted to quit and quit and quit every single day. But one thing my dad said, he says, you will never quit a sport. Once you start it, you will finish out no matter if you like it or not. And that's one thing that stuck with me and just kept me moving. And for some spark of light, I joined the next season and started to love it. And which brought me a little bit to where I was at in Pee Wee football. I played fullback and linebacker, had some good mentors, coaches that I still keep in touch with. Coach Davis, had a little bit of started off at Vestal Central School District, played football as well as a little bit of my lifetime. Then I went over, transferred to Binghamton High School, just based off of Coach Davis, recruiting me to go over there for more opportunity to play college football as well as excel academically. And I made that transition over to Binghamton, which ultimately gave me the opportunity to play college football. I excelled as a football player. I continued to improve, set goals, continued to perfect my craft as a D lineman, and which ultimately brought me to Gannon University, which was my first college I attended, moving on forward. And then about 2 years, 3 years in, I was a little far from home, got a little bit of homesick as well, and the football program was just not what it was pinned up to be, and made that transition to East Stroudsburg University, where I finished off my collegiate career and did very well academically as well as on the football field. Heavily invested myself into activities such as National Society of Honor and Leadership, Tau Sigma National Honor Society, Entrepreneurship Club, and football on top of 2 majors. And my goodness, I was heavily involved, and it pretty much opened the light of my eye to what network really means and being able to have a good task and structure. So
that's awesome. I think it's really interesting how you say that it was something you didn't like, one of your biggest passions in life, football. It's funny how you didn't want to do it at first, but then you realize, no, I'm just going to go even just one more day, and then or just a little bit more, and then you find out that you like it. So I think that just shows that you need to be hardened a little bit, and you need to go through some difficult times to really find your passion. And that's definitely something that's important. And obviously, college football, being a student athlete, is definitely not something for the faint of heart. It's for somebody that it's not an easy thing to do. So obviously, that's really impressive. Now, as far as you, once again, I understand that you were super versatile on the field. I mean, I remember back in high school, even. I mean, you could play so many positions. You could play O-line, D-line, receiver, linebacker, running back. You could play so many positions on the field. pretty much anything if you really needed to, anywhere you were needed. Of all those positions, offense, defense, what was your favorite position and why?
Now, I wouldn't say I could play all positions on the field. Now, safety.
Not at a high level.
Not at a high level. Cornerbacks and safeties, they have it hard. Even just quarterbacks too, you know. But so yeah, in my Pee Wee years of football, I played linebacker and fullback, and kind of transitioned more into the D line role, D end and D tackle in high school. You know, the glorifying moment of scoring a touchdown or setting a lead block for somebody. So fullback was definitely my second favorite position. But Coach Davis would kill me if I said that D-line wasn't my first, which it is. You know, there's so much more to it than just driving somebody upfield and going back and forth. And the trenches are a real thing when it comes to football. You know, O lineman versus D lineman, it does get pretty violent in there. So there's more to D line than people actually know, with hand fighting and things like that, which makes the sport almost like an art and makes the position like an art. So if I had to choose, it would be D end and D tackle.
That's awesome, man. I knew you were going to pick defense. I know you were something on the defensive side of the ball. I had a feeling. So
have to.
Now, obviously, through your journey through sports, there can be all kinds of distractions. So girls, family, the nightlife. How did you handle those distractions on the way? And were there any at all for you, or did you just kind of put the blinders on at times?
So one thing that helped myself very much so is, having good mentors and good coaches that kind of steer your head clear of everything, you know. It's just how you apply it and how you take their information, how you take their feedback, you know. One thing that I did very well was structure my time, have very good organizational skills, and very goal-oriented as well. Being able to see a common goal in the future and being able to attain it, nothing could really take me away from it. Being that whether I needed to ace a test or whether I needed to do well on the weekend for a game on Saturday or a Friday night game, you know, or my apologies, a Thursday night game, but there's always has to be a goal in the near view. Yes, there's going to be distractions all over the place, whether it's girls, whether it's going out and partying too much, or just doing the wrong thing, you know, bad influences, surrounding yourself with the wrong people. But what consequence or what consequates right and wrong is you know, what you feel is right and wrong. And for myself, having a path and having good people influences and surrounding myself around good people, you know, it kept my vision clear. So.
And I think those distractions, those things that could come in, you know, girls or nightlife or being lazy, right. Those things are all instant gratification. They'll make you feel good now, but you know, later on, it may not be so good for the long run. So I think delaying that gratification is the path to success in the long run.
I completely agree.
So now, anybody that knows sports or football or sports in general understands that to be a successful football player, to be a high-level American football player, you need to be strong, fast, tough, athletic. How did you eat and train in college, and was it different from high school, and if so, how?
Yeah, so completely different from high school, you know. Even myself in high school, we had a good football program. Went to states several years in a row. We went to state semis as well. And we had a good facility for when it comes to lifting. You know, our lifting was structured by an ex-NFL player as well as an ex-Division I football player, Coach Ruggiero and Coach Davis, and they really had a clear vision in what they wanted and how they set it up. I started college as a 185-pound kid who was about 5'10", and I ended up graduating senior year being about 6 foot and 230 pounds. So just in that time, being able to lift and stay dedicated to constantly gaining weight, constantly getting stronger and faster was you know, a key for my success going into college. And not to mention in college gaining almost 70 pounds almost. My senior year of college, I ended up ending at 295 pounds and still being able to run a 40 under 5 seconds. And my daily habits would be waking up at 5 a.m., going to lifting, eating breakfast, going to class, going to practice, going to more class, going to another lift, eating any chance that I got till I was almost sick to my stomach eating. And just being able to constantly balance the speed on top of the weight and the strength. It's very hard to, if you don't have a clear vision in doing it, you'll never get the results you actually want. So.
Yeah, it is surely interesting that you said obviously you gained a significant amount of weight, that you were also able to stay fast and be able to move because you need to on the defensive line, rushing the passer, you know, making moves around that offensive lineman. So that's definitely really cool.
Lateral movement is huge for a D lineman. Lateral movement, and you being able to use your hips, even being a bigger guy, 290 pounds. So hips mean a lot when it comes to D linemen playing edges.
All right, so Joe, what are the biggest things you learned in high school that helped you most when you got to college, both in the classroom or on the field?
Yeah, so, I mean, like I said before, you know, we had very good mentors as coaches. Me and John playing football together, you know, one coach was from Alabama, played defensive tackle there, and then my main mentor, Coach Davis, he went to West Point as well as playing in the NFL, so he kind of structured his coaching style, his lifting style, his moral value views off of kind of militaristic. And with that being said, going into college, being able to stay organized, being able to be timely, being able to be prompt and hardworking, and there's several things that go into it, but being able to be organized, keep a focus, and being able to stay hungry, determined, goal-oriented, clear vision. You know, there's so many things that go into it that people don't realize. But even just with a business and even with football, just being able to stay organized to make your life that much more simple on a day-to-day basis. Like you're not running out of the door, putting your clothes on, putting your coat on, forgetting things, getting to your job in a panic, all heavy breath. You know, organization is huge.
Absolutely. Now, I understand that, obviously, student-athlete, the athlete part is awesome. But let's talk about the student part for a second. What did you study in college?
So in college, I was a double major in entrepreneurship and marketing, but it did not start like that. At first, I was an accounting major, and what really opened light to my eye was I went to an internship here at Erie Insurance at my first school, Gannon University, and I did an internship with an accountant and literally just sat in a cubicle all day long. And I'm like, is this all you do? And he answered me, he's like, yeah, this is just the day-to-day, you know, just coming in here, crunching some numbers, calling some sponsorship, you know, doing this. And I was like, wow, this is so not what I want to do. With my personality, you know, I'm more on the personable side. I'm very outgoing, love to talk to people, and I just knew from that moment on that it wasn't it for me. So the more internships that you can do in college is huge. Being able to get an experience in different fields and being able to see what people do on a daily basis is huge. And honestly, my entrepreneurial mindset, I don't think that school should be a necessity for people. You know, in my opinion, I think it's a waste of time and money unless you're an athlete. A lot of these schools, they're businesses at first. So, you know, there's always going to be something that drives them with business. So I don't think school should be a necessity, whereas it should be more internship based.
Interesting. I was laughing a little bit earlier when you said that, you know, the guy in the cubicle crunching the numbers and saying how, wow, I saw this, I thought it was something, and I realized this is just not something I want to do for the rest of my life. And I'm just brought back to, like, thinking college or even anywhere else in your life. Like, how many times have you heard that somebody switched paths along the way when they realize this just isn't something I want to do, I don't have a passion for this. So it's like you just have so much money if you had $1 for every time that was heard. So it's just interesting that, you know, I feel like at some point everyone almost goes through it, you know what I mean? There's
a lot of people that go through it, and mind you, you can go through it until you're, 25 years old, whatever, still not knowing what you want to do, but at the end of the day, as long as you're in the broad spectrum of what you want to study, what you want to do, and you just don't have it. Like, I knew I wanted to be in business because ever since I was a kid, I loved singing jingles. Like I said, my dad always used to say you could plant one seed in my brain and I would sing it for all day long. And there's a Matthew Chevrolet commercial as a kid, and it was like Truck City, USA, and I swear I would sing that thing all the time. And when it was like,
It's funny.
Welcome to Moe's, like stuff like that, really imprinted in my brain, as well as just being artistic. So, you know, there's always a vision and there's always a path for you set. You just got to find it.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about time management for a second here. How did you manage being a student athlete, and was it difficult?
Oh my goodness, of course. One thing that I found was, you know, you have those people that always complain about, oh, I don't have time to do this. I don't have enough time in the day. There's only 24 hours, and then you look at them and you say, well, I bet I can top that. And so for me in college, I was a double major, played college football in several honor societies, in activities, an internship, a job on top of it. I was a tutor. So when people tell me they have 24 hours in a day, it's a load of nonsense. It's a load of nonsense. So, you know, myself, I do a hell of a lot better with structure. So being that where I can over involve myself with activity is the better I do. Considering on Sundays are usually my lazy days. I'll sit in bed all day long. I'll catch up on some things, whether it was homework in college, whether it was work stuff I had to do, football activity I had to do, maybe scheme study. I would sit in bed and just kind of catch up on Sundays. So come towards the end of the day, I would literally write out a weekly schedule of what I had to accomplish. Not so much a timely schedule, but more of a goal schedule. What I wanted to accomplish that week, short term as well as long term. And during the week, I would cross these goals off as soon as I accomplished them, whether it was acing a test, whether it was learning the scheme that I wanted to, whether it was making a certain amount of money that I wanted to, or whatever it was. But having that instant gratification of crossing a goal off the list that I accomplished was huge for me, and definitely motivational moving forward. So in that week,
I think one of the best things that you highlighted there was that having almost kind of a schedule, or having things to set and hit, you know, let's hit this at a certain time, or when I accomplish, let's cross it off the list, to be more organized, kind of like you were saying. I mean, it's so easy just to, you know, run around like a chicken with your head cut off and throw your throw your shit at the wall and hope it sticks. But you know, I think everybody can get a little bit better with being more organized, setting more goals, being more timely. So I think that's really important. Now, to my understanding, you played at 2 different schools. Was it difficult to make the transition?
Yeah, so all my life I've been making transitions. Like I said, I started off in a school called Vestal. Well, to go even beforehand, I grew up in Philadelphia, South Philadelphia to be exact, right dead set in the city. So grew up, mom was working 3 jobs trying to break even. My grandma pretty much raised me, and then I ended up moving up to New York later on in life with once my mom had met my stepdad. And it's crazy, you know, making that jump, going from the city to the rural Vestal Appalachian area. And with schools, I transferred from Vestal, which was a very an upper school where kids were dressed very nicely, to where, you know, you'd get in trouble for not having a hall pass, to going to a Binghamton, which was an inner city school where you got all different demographics, kind of like when I lived in Philadelphia. So for me, when it came to college, I started off at Gannon University, which I like to really much relate to like a Vestal for myself. Gannon University was a private college, 2,500 students, Catholic, and very tight-knitted, you know, dead set in Erie, Pennsylvania. I loved it up there. Freaking beautiful, Presque Isle, everything. The city is great. And it just wasn't for me, you know. I want went about 2 years in, figured out that, I wasn't happy with myself. I felt like I wasn't making the decisions and the progress that I should have been. Mind you, I was still successful within the football program and as well as academically, but I knew that there was something that I was missing. So I took the jump, I took the leap to Stroudsburg, which is kind of like the Binghamton to me. You get kids from all over the place, Philadelphia, New York City, New Jersey, coming to this more of a almost inner city type school where you got different cultures, diversity, and backgrounds, and I love it because you never get enough of cultural diversity. Rather than living outside of the city, I had buddies coming from Jersey, New York, like I said, Jersey, everywhere, and just being able to have some sort of creativity and unique, different brains going all over. The collaboration was great, but it's totally different. My goodness, the football program as well. Gannon had about 1,000 people at each game, whereas Stroudsburg, sometimes you'd have 15 to 20,000 people. They'd even shut down the town sometime to come to a football game. So there's no better time. There's no better opportunity.
I really like how you paralleled your kind of what you went through in high school with transitioning schools and sports programs to college. So when you got to college, you kind of already had been through it before. So you had a little bit of experience there, which I think is great. Now, obviously, we've talked about some hard knocks and some rough times as of now up to this point. But were there ever times when it got so bad to where you wanted to quit, or did the workload get too much for you to handle?
Oh my goodness, yes. I mean, come on. Everybody has those hardships, and everybody has those times where they're in extreme doubt of themselves. During football, my goodness, I've lost positions as starting, and where I've had to work myself back into the rotation, things like that, where sometimes you do become complacent with where you're at, and those are just some learning lessons moving forward. I mean, no one's perfect. Everybody has their flaws, and sometimes when you're on top, you kind of get a little bit ahead of yourself. You become complacent with things that you do, and it's just learning lessons. Luckily, being younger, you can make those mistakes and still bounce back and rebound. But yes, there's been several nights of going through football in college where you got a big practice that next day, you got a big test, you got a big quiz, you got something big on top of several instances, and being able to push through it is it's definitely hardship, taking the path of most resistance rather than the path of least resistance. It'll help you in the long run. I mean, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger at the end of the day. So being able to put your mind through things that are going to build your mental toughness is very helpful and with advancing and being successful.
I think you made a very important point by saying that when you're young, you can almost get away with making mistakes because you can learn from them, because you have so much more time in the future to learn from those mistakes and succeed from those mistakes that you've learned from. That's why I think it's important to understand that getting through difficulty, getting through aversion, what it is it's a skill that needs to be learned. So you learn when you're younger. You're not just born with the ability to say, I'm going to push myself through something my body or my brain doesn't want to. That's why I think as a young person, to be thrown into situations or to be put into situations where you say, okay, this is difficult, but I need to just keep going, it trains you for the long run because those situations are inevitably going to come up. So that's why you're saying I was able to get through it. And that's a skill that you learn in your early years, and you're able to still carry them with you to this day. Right.
Well, having good parents and having good mentors, as well as just surrounding yourself with people of good benefit, it's huge to your success.
And that actually brings me to our next question, Joe. I know we all have mentors that we can remember throughout our lives, but how were your relationships with your coaches?
So with my coaches, everybody, you always hear those success stories of how people had poor relationships with their coaches but ended up being a miracle, going on and doing that stuff. But honestly, those success stories speak volumes just as much as success stories with people who are coachable and being able to do the right thing at the right time. And growing up, I've always had great relationships with my coaches, being able to be coachable, being able to accept coaching and constructive criticisms, not taking them the wrong way, shutting down, and eventually falling out, whatever. But being able to be coachable and taking those constructive criticisms and being able to apply them to future activity, whether it's you need to hit the weight room or whether it's you need to do more studying or you need to get better here in this area. For me, growing up, I would always, my football coach always said, you need to drive your feet on contact. You need to drive your feet on contact. And there's one thing that I made such a staple in my game that to the point where I was pancaking offensive linemen, as a defensive lineman, which is very hard to do. But it's being able to be coachable. Everybody needs to hit the field. I know you're going to have dog days. You're going to have those days where it's going to be, oh, it's raining. It's 10 degrees. It's pouring. It's cloudy. It's whatever. It's too hot. But you need to be able to approach it in an optimistic way, not going in with and the way that, oh, this isn't going to go right today. It's the law of attraction. At the end of the day, when you output a bad energy, you're going to get it in return. So, I mean, myself being able to go out there, be coachable, be optimistic on a day-to-day helped me tremendously.
Absolutely, and I think you saying that constructive criticism, I think that's extremely important just for everybody to get better at, because when you take constructive criticism, especially from somebody like a coach in a situation who may know more than you or have been in your shoes already,
of course,
it's important to look at that and say, this person's just trying to help me. I can only get better from taking this constructive criticism seriously. A lot of people say, I don't have to do that, you know what I mean? I'm just going to do it my way. But you don't succeed that way. You need to get better by taking that constructive criticism seriously,
right.
For sure. Next, how big of a role did your family and friends play in your athletic career as far as support goes?
Oh my goodness, man! My parents played an absolute prominent role in my advancement within sports, school, and everything. For the things that my parents had to put up with, God bless their soul. My goodness. As a kid, I was always getting into trouble. I was always doing things. It wasn't until high school where I really flipped the script, Early on, I was getting into trouble. I was doing stupid things, I just had no real guidance of what I worshiped myself almost, where to the point where I didn't care what anybody said. I didn't care about feedback. I didn't this. And then really the epiphany I had was when I went to Binghamton with Coach Davis. But early on, I was getting into trouble. But mind you, my parents were always supportive. And anything that was, especially football, they really, whether it was football, hockey, boxing, whatever sport I'd like to do, they were very influential with being able to make sure that I never quit a season that I hated or wanted to, take a back seat to, or they were always a great support system, as well as my friends. You will never get those relationships back of all the sports that I've played. I've made numerous friends, I've made numerous connections moving forward, which I probably still have connections with on Facebook. I was just talking with one of my buddies I played hockey with on Instagram it was actually yesterday. I haven't talked to him in a few months, but it's crazy. You have connections made for friends for a lifetime, and on top of it, with going back to the parents thing, if you have supportive parents that are there to touch you throughout everything, even to the point where I've seen my buddies who have a lack of a support system, in college and high school, where we'd always have them over whether they had a family to spend a special event with, whether it was Christmas, Thanksgiving. If they didn't, we'd love to accept them, thank them, come into the house, come have a meal, come hang out with us. We were very accepting of several other people. And, moving forward, it's just, you don't get any of that stuff back, man. Your parents and friends, as long as you're surrounded by good people, they'll continue to move you in the right path. So,
I think that just goes to show that a person doesn't just draw strength from their own brains and brawn themselves, but also from their allies as well.
Right.
Now, you also made a point there. You said that you hit an epiphany phase where before this time period, like let's say in high school when you transferred over to Binghamton, that you were almost hedonistic. You were almost, all for myself, greedy. But then right when you stopped being that way, right when you started, once again, kind of saying, okay, I have a support system. I have people that care about me. I kind of want to reflect that care back instead of just being about myself and, you know, accepting my family and friends and kind of mirroring what they do to help me to other people. How much better did your life get?
Oh my God, it made my life a hell of a lot easier. Granted, my epiphany was either do the right thing or get the crap kicked out of me by a coach. But mind you,
sometimes you need that, right?
Yeah, sometimes it's just a certain kick in the ass that you need, and it made my life so much more simple. You know, you don't realize how much greener the grass can be if it's in the right direction. Being, like I said before, when I was getting into trouble and I was doing things, I was worshiping myself like an idiot. You know, I found that my life was so much harder. You know, I was getting grounded. I was, you know, disorganized. I just never had a clear vision, you know. So once I hit that, like I said, that epiphany to where my vision cleared and I wanted to play college football. I wanted to be a successful human being. I wanted to take my life to the next level, you know. There are several chapters in your life, and it almost flipped the page for me. It's like, damn, this is a new chapter for me. I need to do something different. Like, even after college, flipped to another chapter with me opening my business. So, you know, those epiphanies are huge, and you just got to make sure you're taking the right path instead of the wrong one.
That's great. Now, along the way, did you have any injuries or setbacks?
Yeah, so growing up playing football, hockey, as well as boxing from middle school to high school, all contact sports, I never had an injury until my senior year of college football, which is crazy, you know. I've had minor things that I've played with, broken fingers, broken, I don't know, I think I've had broken toes, stuff like that, even broken nose, whatever. But, you know, with football, you just got to push through the pain and play through it, sprains, whatever. I'm 6 games away from the end of my senior season in college, and I got a high ankle sprain that was supposed to take me out for 4 weeks. So I was in the trainer room saying, Joe, you can't play for the rest of the season. This is how your senior season's going to end, and all these things. I'm hearing feedback from one or the other, and it was heartbreaking. Sitting in the trainer room, I literally remember sitting there crying, knowing that was how things were going to go out, and ended up going back, getting an X-ray. Things were I ended up getting an X-ray at one of the facilities in Stroudsburg. I ended up getting a second opinion because I just did not take no for an answer. I did not want to hear that my last 4 games of the season were going to be cut short. So I went home, I went and got a second opinion, and they ended up saying I have a bad high ankle sprain. So what I ended up having to do, I had to sit out 2 weeks, and then I played through the pain for the last 2 because I was not going to miss them. And I can't thank Jamie Galdieri enough, the head of the training staff over at Stroudsburg. My God, the amount of times that I walked in there, I said, Jamie, fix me up. Please, man, just do something, anything. Whether it was a shoulder or whether it was whatever, even with my high ankle sprain, you know, Jamie really got me through, and I can't thank him enough, man. That training staff is one hell of a staff over there. My goodness.
And I think once again that just goes back to, you know, using your allies, drawing strength from them. It's super important. So now along the way, I bet you made a ton of meaningful connections and friendships.
Of course.
This may sound corny, hokey, but are there any special ones that you'd like to share with us, like maybe some extra funny stories or events that you'll never forget, or those moments that, you know, make life worth living? Because we all have them. Anything you'd like to share with us?
Of course. So, you know, growing up playing football, playing hockey, all those sports, you know, you build those connections over time. You make friends. You meet new people. There's several people in your life that will make an impactful role on whether it's a good thing, a bad thing, but the amount of friendship that I've made playing football, the amount of 100 brothers that you meet on a yearly basis and you continue to grow with, like in football, being able to go to training camp where you're spending 2 dedicated weeks to strict football, waking up at 6 a.m., going to bed at 10 o'clock at night, spending literally the whole day, whether it's practice, lifting, film, eating, whatever with these guys. You build these relationships, you stay in connection with all of them on social media, and my goodness, I would not take anything back for the world. Just the amount of crazy times laughing, staying, of making fun of each other, you know, just getting along, and as well as my roommates in college too. You know, 165 East Brown Street, 6 guys. You know, we used to make family dinners all the time. We used to have get-togethers at the house, watch football together. We have these things, this thing called Warrior Wednesday, where we'd all go hang out together, one another, at one of the football houses. Things that I will not say were the things that were being done, but we just had, it's a crazy experience, you know, being able to play college football and high school football. You build these relationships. You'll never have those again. So moving forward, you know, having those long-term relationships, you just don't get those back. So
definitely, that actually reminded me of, you know, my college years and the amazing connections and friendships that I built up. And if there's any advice that I would also give, is that just cherish it for what it is. Because you almost never get to live like that again, where it's like almost like, other than your family, it's like the people that you care about and love the most are just all in one spot all the time. Right. You know what I mean? It's just, there's nothing like it.
There is not anything like college. You don't realize it until you always hear growing up, there's nothing like college, there's nothing like high school, but you don't realize it until you're out and you're fending for yourself, and things are different, where your day-to-day life is almost too busy to get a hold of your friends and hang out with them to where it was. But no, there is nothing like college, and there is nothing like hanging out with your friends and rekindling all those old memories. So.
Now, do you have any advice for upcoming student athletes who want to play a college sport?
Yes, make sure you are out working your competitor. My goodness, there are so many people out there that are working hard, but you have to be that person that's working that much harder, putting in the extra work, putting in that extra time at the weight room, being able to study a little bit more, making sure you're that much more dedicated. One thing that really drove me was considering my main goal was to be a college football player, and there was nothing that was going to take me away from that. So whether it was like I said, putting the extra time in the weight room, being able to work on and off the field, in the weight room as well, in the classroom, getting good grades. I know a lot of people are going to laugh at me for this. I took the SAT 4 times to be able to achieve over a 1,000 on the 2 parts, just to be able to get the full scholarship that I needed to get into school. So it's being able to do things over and over, and being able to outwork your competitor, as well as be organized. That'll also help. There's little things that go with it. Organized, being timely, prompt, coachable. Just being able to outwork your competitor. That's the main thing that comes to mind.
So I don't think that what you just said about the SATs, I don't think that's as uncommon as you might think.
I know.
I bet a lot more people have done that than you would think, number one. Number two, that just tells me right there that you had a vision, you had a passion, you said, this is where I want to be. And let me ask you one question, Joe. You definitely got there, because we wouldn't be sitting here today if you didn't. Correct. But how perfect were you along the way? Is the answer perfect or not perfect?
I was never perfect. My goodness. You know, sitting down to study for that SAT, just sitting through the SAT, 5 hours for each test, taking it 4 times, was nearly impossible for myself. And just being able to study for it on top of it with football and everything, I just barely had a time to breathe. So being able to take it over and over, and once I finally achieved that, I was consistently stagnant at about 950, 980 on the 2 parts. And that last time I ended up breaking it. I think I got an 1100, if not an 1150 on my last take. So it was almost a 200-point, 300-point jump from my one to the other. And took me and totally landed me my goal, you know. I was so happy to hear my scores. And it was actually funny, because the last time it was me and one of my buddies, Morgan. We took the test on the same day. after we had just beat UE at home, and man, there was nothing like it. So.
And I think that just goes to show that you don't have to be perfect to get where you want to be. You just have to never give up. I mean, I think sometimes having a desire, having the will to never quit is always going to be more important than being perfect or being completely, naturally talented.
Completely agree. There are so many people out there that think that they have to just be intelligent to get something that they dream of having, and it's not that way. I'm not the smartest guy. I'm not the biggest. I'm not definitely not the most. I don't have the most God-given talent, but for Christ's sake, I'm going to outwork anybody in the room. So
it's good stuff. It's good to hear. So let's jump over to the entrepreneur side of this.
Of course.
First off, tell us about Rugglion and what does your company do?
So Rugglion is a new-to-date digital marketing company that we handle everything, all-encompassing digital marketing, whether it's website development, design. We do graphic design, we do video editing as well as development, audio engineering, we do SEO, SEM, we do social media marketing, we do social media analytics, pretty much everything encompassing digital marketing. So Rugglion is new to date. We had just started this year, 2020. A little bit of the background is, like I said, in college I studied entrepreneurship as well as marketing. As a kid, I loved freaking jingles, like I said earlier, and I got this opportunity to have an internship at Stroudsburg with a 3D printing company where I met a big influence in my life, Joey St. Clair, who gave me an opportunity to kind of ignite this 3D printing company business. It was very early stage. He allowed me to go do some grassroots marketing as well as some digital marketing, social media stuff, and had me travel to Michigan, had me travel to New York for 3D printing company trade shows. So I was out there on the floor, giving my spiel about the elevator pitch about his business, which was Solid Innovations, which now is actually sold to a bigger company. Joe now has a company called Mantis 3D printing, located in Stroudsburg. But my goodness, it's been a long journey, and I just knew that outside of college, I graduated, I got a position as the director of digital marketing with a professional hockey team here in Elmira, New York, where I handled all the digital marketing, social media, all the advertising for the video boards that they had during the games, and the camera work, the building, the advertisements, being able to entertain 4,000 people in a venue just really opened my eyes and made this job of digital marketing so unique. Being able to build sweet hype videos, being able to show graphics that people are in awe about, starting to spark sort of word of mouth. But come time COVID, we all got furloughed and people lost their jobs, and I sat around here at my apartment for about 3 days, and I was like, this is so boring. What am I gonna do? I can't sit around for more than 5 minutes. I have ADHD, so for myself, I have to do something. So Ruggiero is my last name. I love lions. Absolutely love lions. My grandmom used to buy me lion toys as a kid, and she always used to say applicable lion quotes to life. And so which brought me to the idea, started doing some research, checking out search engines, and I thought of Rugglion. Nobody's ever talked about it. Nobody's ever said it. Nobody even knows what it means. Here I am implementing a business, got it trademarked, got the logo trademark patented as well, and here's Rugglion. So
awesome, man. Now, once again, all of Joe's material for Rugglion will be in the description below, so absolutely check those out. Now, is there anything, I'm sure you can answer this question in 1,000 different ways, but is there anything that you learned as a student athlete that helped you with your business goals / mindset?
No question. Being able to set goals, whether short term or long term, even blue sky goals, ones that are completely out of the water, that are very hard to obtain, has helped me in every single way. being able to set weekly goals, monthly goals with my business, being able to continue to scale with how large it's getting just in these first few months. They very much relate back to being an athlete, being able to also handle a large workload. Like I said, my day-to-day basis, I still do work a 9-to-5 job, which I will be probably eventually getting rid of here within the next year or so, to pursue my dreams of being a sole entrepreneur. My day-to-day, waking up at 5 a.m., going to the gym, coming home at 6 o'clock, doing a little meditation, doing a little bit of journal writing, putting down some ideas that I have, whatever that is, making breakfast, going to work until 5 o'clock, coming home, dinner, working from, my goodness, 6 o'clock at night until about 10 o'clock at night, 11, sometimes even all night if I have to, just to accomplish goals that I've set. And with that being said, sometimes as an entrepreneur, you don't get nights where you sleep, and sometimes you have maybe 4 hours, 3 hours of sleep where you have to get up, but you have to handle your business. At the end of the day, there's somebody out working you. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, there's somebody out working you. So if you have to put in 2 hours of sleep, mind you, your body is your temple, and you should value it. But there are going to be some nights where you have to do a little bit extra more than the other person, which from college I'm very familiar with. So
I like how you're indicating that you have a schedule that you adhere to and you always adhere to. I think
right.
Having that habitual schedule is definitely a factor in success. So now, how do you determine that you had the skills or resources to build a successful company? So basically I'm asking, how did you find your niche? How did you choose your business venture? Why didn't you start a pizza company? Or, why did you decide to go into this path?
So, with digital marketing, it can be a little bit costly with equipment, when it comes to video production equipment, computers, graphics, things. But what really made me get into digital marketing and was the drive and motivation behind making people feel good, number one. Number two, helping people pursue their dreams of being entrepreneurs and people running successful businesses. At the end of the day, I don't care if people don't like my, if people don't like my material, if people don't like whatever, that's their opinion. But at the end of the day, I'm here because I want to help people run their own businesses. I want people to be happy, make a profit, and I want to be able to show people that I'm giving 110% with whatever I put out. Everything, every graphic, every video, every website I make, every social media venture that I do, I'm always giving 110%, and being able to see the gratification on a customer's face when they're happy about their product and that their baby, which a lot of people refer their businesses to being their baby, because you have to nurture a business. At the end of the day, you're spending hours and hours and money into this thing that, what is it? I want to say 1 out of every 10 or like 3 out of every 10 businesses actually are successful. But I mean, at the end of the day, if I can do anything in my power to help that and continue to give them advice and inform them on where this digital innovation is moving towards, because for all we know, tomorrow the innovations are going to be 10 times better than they were yesterday. So being able to inform people on new functionalities and things like that as well, and doing it in an artistic approach. I mean, in high school, I was always a drawer. I was always painting. I was always doing things that were artistic, and being able to view the digital marketing field in an artistic way and promote it and help people out in that way is just a dream of mine. So,
I think it's funny how you mentioned that, it's like funny or cliche or whatever, that you mentioned that you refer to it as your baby, or some people refer to it as your baby. But
right.
The thing is that it's kind of true, because not only are you saying that you have to take care of it as you would a baby, but also it's yours like it is. It's something you call your own. It's something you created, like similar to a baby, So I don't think that's really that far off. So I definitely like that. Now, obviously you have personal relationships with friends and family. What are the sacrifices that need to be made? And how do you balance all of your hard work while maintaining those relationships? I know we've been talking a lot about time allocation. It's been a staple here, but
Of course. So time allocation is huge, and your family will always be there as well as your friends. But sometimes when you have a greater goal, it kind of your schedule kind of sorts itself. That's one thing I'll say. Having a business and being able to make those connections and networking. It's not so much that your friends make or your true friends, they take a back seat, but if they're your true friends, they'll understand that you're driving to do something that you love and that you support and that it's your goal. So, my friends have been extremely supportive thus far, and I can't thank them enough. My family as well. They're there backing me on everything that I do. So, for the quote-unquote friends that are trying to drag you to go party all the time, trying to drag you, oh, dude, you spend too much time on your business, I can't believe you don't even hang out with me anymore, or you do this, those are not your friends. I mean, the law of attraction will completely, it'll steer a path for yourself that is on a path to success, and at the end of the day, like I said, it'll clear itself. So being able to find friends that are supportive through whether it's an entrepreneurial venture or whether it's something that a goal you've been looking at or school or whatever it is, being able to make sure that you're successful and holding you accountable as well, you can't find that everywhere. Those are good friends.
So once again, that just shows how important allies are in a support system.
Yes, very much so.
So once again, I'm sure you can answer this in many ways, and you've kind of touched on it, but were there any major setbacks that made you want to give up the lifestyle?
Oh my goodness, yes. I mean, there are so many setbacks, none that I can think of at the top of my head with my entrepreneurship, but like I said previously, there's so many costly things that come into a business, whatever industry you're in, there's always going to be costly business. With digital marketing, like I said, it comes to video cameras, it comes to computers, it comes to physical promotional objects, it comes to so many things. But at the end of the day, if you have a greater goal and it's almost as if you crave success like a junkie. You crave success and you will do anything to succeed. And there's been so many nights of sleepless nights to myself to where said, do I just want to give this up, take the easy route, and be able to, just live a decent life, could be comfortable, whatever. But at the end of the day, you just have to realize that it's not worth the least resistance. It's so much more worth it at the end of the time, With entrepreneurs, everybody always sees the success story of what they do, what they create, or whatever that is, but they don't ever see the behind the scenes where you're working hard, you're having sleepless nights, you're running like a chicken with your head cut off sometimes. But as long as you stay consistent and you have a clear vision, there's nothing that's going to stop that. So
it's all about that never give up attitude, right?
Of course.
So obviously, we all have passions, we all have things we love to do. It's important to know and identify those, but it's also important to understand why. So why do you love what you do?
Why do I love what I do? I love the gratification, man. There is nothing like being able to, I haven't grasped the full effect of sole entrepreneurship yet. I still work a 9-to-5 marketing position. But the gratification of seeing a customer happy, being able to, give them 110% product, see a smile on their face, get excited about their own thing that they might have been lacking because of just how things have been going, being able to see a smile on their face, number one. Number two, entrepreneurship, giving you the opportunity to travel, to go meet new connections, meet new people. I was just on a Zoom call with a guy that reached out to me through LinkedIn, and guys from down in New York City, somebody who shares the same similarities as myself, and just kind of shooting conversation back and forth. And it's things like that you don't get while working a 9-to-5, where you're waking up, you're meeting you're meeting the same people every single day. Maybe you'll stray, meet one new person a day doing the same thing. It's almost like a grayscale life where you wake up, you clock in, you clock out, and you're done. But with entrepreneurship, I feel like it's led me to so many more new opportunities with being able to, number one, expand my brain, learning new things about digital marketing every single day, being able to, like I said, meet new people through social media and what it offers, being able to travel to new destinations I've never been. Just in these past few months of opening my business, I've been to several different places that I've never even seen before. So my why is number one, the gratification, number two, the opportunities entrepreneurship provides, and number three, just the adventure. It's almost addicting. It's very much addicting. So
that's surely admirable. And also, when things do get tough, when you're working, when you're up all night, or when you're going through a difficult time, I'm sure you always come back and revert to that why and say, this is why we do this, and that's what keeps you going forward. So.
You have to. Whether it takes a day or whether it takes hours, whatever it is, you always have to go back to your why, and it very much helps.
Okay, now, do you have any advice to people who may be trying to start their own business or in life in general?
Yes. So with starting a business, just know the ride is rocky, and the road is very rocky, and it's not going to be easy. I know that it kind of sounds cliche. Everybody says that there's going to be a lot more poor days than there are positive. Rome was not built in a day. That thing took a long time to build, and let alone become successful. So being able to being able to go back to that why of what you're doing and what you find passionate is absolutely huge with driving that motivation that you have. For entrepreneurs moving forward, make sure you have a lot of time and allocation. There will always be people that are working harder than you, so you have to be able to put forth that much effort extra to beat out your competitors. And just for people in life, do something that you enjoy. Not something that you're going where you're pessimistic about life. And you have to kind of change broaden your
horizons,
your spectrums, and take that leap of faith. A lot of people say the grass isn't greener on the other side, but if it's something that you feel that you're going to be passionate about and that you enjoy, there's always going to be green on the other side. So, being able to stay optimistic is absolutely huge, and attacking life with 110% all the time. So
great. That leaves us with, are there any announcements that you have or would like to share with us?
Yeah, so Rugglion is teaming up with a non-profit organization to on our little mission of saving the lions. It's in the works here, coming soon. I'm not going to give away too much, but for all you cats and kittens, there is something coming soon, I promise. As well as Rugglion here, we have a few ebooks coming, as well as a learning course, and we have something else coming your way that we also don't want to say. So we have some big things coming, and we're looking forward to kind of launching it for you guys. So
definitely keep an eye out for that. And also, as far as what we were talking about just recently here, I think as far as starting something, I think humble beginnings is a good trope to go by. You're saying it's a rocky road, but always understand that there's always humble beginnings, because, like you said, Rome wasn't built in a day. So. Rome
was not built in a day, and for those people with success stories, utilize it to your best, approach. So.
All right, well, Joe, thank you very much for having this discussion with me today. I know that that was definitely some expert advice, and I will also be taking a lot of things that you've shared with me here today and applying it to my personal life to hopefully improve the way I live as well. So I want to say thanks for that, and thanks for talking to me once again.
Thank you very much, John, having me here on Top Floor Culture. I can't thank you enough. It's a great opportunity. And for myself, guys, thank you very much for watching. My name is Joe Ruggiero, the Executive Director of Rugglion, where we put pride in your business. Can't thank you guys enough.
Thanks.